Yeah, a little bit of a wet Tuesday, so guys actually handle it well. I mean, a few things were a little bit sloppy, like you'd expect the first time. I mean, it's coming down pretty good, but they moved around well and handled it well and look sharp for late in the year in terms of their body movements and where they are physically and mentally. So I'm excited about that coming into this last game of the regular season.
There's nothing you can't do in practice because of the brand.
No, there's nothing you can't do, but sometimes best way I can say it is sometimes you don't have true game day ball boys and running things in. So you just end up with but it's good for you to experience that. I mean, sometimes when we used to know we were going to play in the rain and it wasn't raining, but the forecast said it was rain, we would soak balls in buckets and do things like that. So everything you can do. It's just mainly the ball handling becomes something you have to focus that much more on.
So obviously in recent weeks there had been a lot of drops, an inordinate amount of drops. And then this game was the complete opposite. Guys were making tough catches all game long. Was there something that was worked on to maybe give them a little bit of an edge?
Yeah, no, I don't know that we did anything differently. You're just continuing. I just thought the guys, I thought more than anything the guys had a really great focus last week, which I felt like, but, whatever it was, I never felt like they were thinking about a concept or what we were running. And the more you're just in tune to that, the more then you can just focus on, you have laser focus on the ball, laser focus on that, because once you hear the call or whatever, you're not kind of, maybe piecing it together. So they just did a great job all week with understanding the game plan to a level where they don't have to think about the call, and now they can be that much more focused on, the play as it's going on, which is obviously the huge part for receivers is making those tough catches.
You don't have the whole who's going to be the quarterback issue this week. How is that knowing that Chase is going to be the guy going to use the other?
Yeah, I mean, like anything, it's it's always smoother and a little cleaner with practice reps and everything else going into it whenever you're in that situation where you don't have multiple quarterbacks that you're possibly. But again, I was very confident with Chase or Mod last week and felt that way going in, and I'd feel the same way this week. So excited for Chase again to build off a full game again, because it's been a while since he got to feel that full game. But I'm always like I said, I'm always ready, and Mod's ready if that situation presents itself.
You guys had some really clutch drives, game clinching drives, Washington and this game, to build off of. How does that impact the players' confidence?
Yeah, I just think it just lets them know that no matter what has happened negatively, because the third quarter was the worst quarter offensively in terms of a lull, but to go through a lull like that and then show resiliency, because the UW game was great, but that was really being down once. This game, being down twice in the fourth quarter, coming off arguably, not arguably, it was, the most unproductive quarter of the third. That shows a lot of resiliency and mental toughness. So you can definitely build off that. And what it does is it puts you in those moments later on, and they know even if you're going through a rut or something isn't going right, hey, we've been there before. Just stay resilient. Keep churning. It'll come. We'll have a chance. And you have to think that way. If you don't, then you'll never succeed in situations like that. Doesn't mean you're going to succeed in every one of those situations, but if you think the other way, you'll never succeed in those moments. So our guys do a good job with that, good resiliency, and give that credit to those players for taking that on twice in that fourth quarter, getting back, tying the game once and then taking the lead on the second one.
Coach, Chase, coming off the 2 injuries, had to run 13 times against Stanford. Was that something you guys expected coming into the game, or was that just on the fly? You guys saw what the defense was giving you?
Yeah, I wouldn't have said 13. I would have taken the under on that number, going into it. But they were just presenting some things, especially when we got into 5 wide or motion into 5 wide, that allowed for light boxes. And so a number of them were actually QB draws, because a lot of times it's a scramble, like the last one, some others, but a number of those were called draws. And quite frankly, it was just one of those things where I just felt like, well, if they're going to keep playing with that structure, we're gonna sneak in a few more QB draws than maybe we planned on, and he was pretty much productive on every one of them.
Were there any limits on him? I mean, did you want to run less because he was facing history?
No, I just wanted himself to protect himself, when he did. So even if because if you run 5 times but you lower your shoulder 5, that's worse than if you run 13, 14, 15, but you just protect yourself. So that's kind of what we talk about, is how can you protect yourself, and getting down a little bit early, and just making sure the only time where you got to be a little leery of that is on those 3rd or 4th downs where you don't want to get into feet first slide early. So we talk about also diving forward and eating dirt that way rather than feet first, because the refs will spot it short of that. We did, and I even talked about a couple that I wanted to clean up, because a couple were good clean slides, and a couple were kind of that half, kind of that half slide, and sometimes that leaves your upper body and your head a little bit exposed. So yeah, we definitely work on those and talk, I mean, it's something you work on, but you're coaching it up as you go. You don't do a ton of slides in practice, but we do some, and use bags when we dive forward as well, at times during the week.
Is he doing it better?
He's doing it better. He is. But what I'd say is there's still 2 there in that film that when we went over his grades, I'd like to see him cleaner. One or the other. Either get into a feet first slide or get down early. Diving face first, because he kind of goes into almost a halfway deal, and he kind of leaves his upper body still exposed and his head exposed.
I wanted to ask about the play before Beau's touchdown, 40-yard pass to him. Was that one of those, like, I've seen more of the inside fade concepts? Or?
Yeah, I mean, it's always in our, it's always in the plan. I mean, every week you have some different big box fades and inside fades involved. It's just you got to find the right time when the matchup's there. So we've thrown that ball to different receivers with the same call. That one just presented itself. We felt like we had a good matchup with their nickel, and the free was cheated into the boundary. Chase did a good job of alerting it, and Nico did a great job winning. So it's it's one of those things that gets called, or it's in a lot of our plays, and then it gets thrown at times when it presents itself in the situations right.
Nico said that was his biggest game, high school or collegiate. Mm-hmm. What was different about this game than the others?
I just think, for him, I mean, he's had tons of big games in high school. Obviously, it's been, he's young still in the system here, so that was his most productive game, both catches and yards. Most productive, I think, by a receiver in that big game since 2003. So it says a lot. So yeah, when you're a sophomore and you do that sort of thing in the rivalry game, the big game, and makes the clutch catches he does, and and the huge ones near the end, I mean, it's going to feel like almost anyone's big game at that, biggest game they've played. So it was just a great job by him not letting the game be too big, though. That's what I would say. The fact that it's his biggest game he's played in, yet he never allowed the game to be too big. He just went out there and made plays and just, did the things executed just like he does in practice every day.
Looking at the film, it looked like he was actually open for a touchdown on the possession before you guys ended up scoring, too.
He was.
Deep in the end zone.
He was.
He had a step.
There was 2 different times he was open for touchdowns down there. So, yeah, he did a good job winning all day. Yep.
Is Kakao back practicing with you guys yet?
Yeah, he's out there, and we'll just kind of day by day, So we'd love to have him back whenever we can, but, you just got to kind of play it day by day.
Coach, the 2 guys who came up big for you guys, Garbers and both were dealing with injuries all season. How does that speak to their work ethic and determination?
They're both just really tough. They are. They're both really tough players. They're tough competitors. They're not afraid of big moments, and so it's it's not shocking to me because you know that about them, but it takes it to another level to me when they do it in that environment, down in the 4th quarter. Like you said, coming off injuries, so it just says that much more. All right, thank you guys.